Lights on or lights off? This is a question if you're a property or a real estate photographer that you've probably asked yourself many times. And it's probably a conversation that you've had with the estate agent or clients you're working with. And to be honest, there's no right or wrong answer to this. It's really a matter of preference. But I'm just going to talk through a few points that I would consider when asking yourself this question. Probably the main reason that this is such a conversation between property photographers is because of the colour cast which lights can give. And you could say if you don't put them on, then it's just easier to edit with, you don't get the colour cast, but you're still going to get the sort of light leaking in from the windows or reflections off the floor. Like here we've got brown floor, so you're going to get sort of reflections and colour casts from all over the room you're shooting. But if you put the lights on, obviously you are going to get that more sort of orange or yellow colour cast, which can be tricky to work with. And that's why I would suggest if you are going to put lights on, probably the best way to shoot is using the flambient technique. And I've made a video of that, how to edit that as well, which I'll put in the link below. But the reason for shooting flambient over HDR really is because if you're shooting with a flash, that flash is kind of going to override all that sort of colour casting you're going to get. Yes, you might get a bit of colour casting from the flash bouncing off the ceiling and the floors, but it's going to get rid of that sort of colour casting that you're getting with the orange or yellow lights that are cast by those lights. Whereas if you shoot HDR, you're just dealing with that ambient light and you're getting all sorts of weird colours going on. You're getting the blue light from the windows, you're getting the orange light from the lights, whatever colour cast you're getting from around the room. So if you do shoot with the lights on, I really would recommend probably flambient is going to be the easiest way to edit. Not saying you can't do it with HDR, you can, but it's just a longer process when editing, and I definitely would not do HDR merge if you're shooting with lots of lights on, because it's going to make the shots look pretty rubbish. And I'm going to find a few examples and show them now that, yeah, just don't do it because they're going to look like this. I thought I'd talk about this subject in this property because I just noticed here there is quite a few different types of lights going on, which I'll show you now. And it's a really dull day here in the UK, so you would think you've got to put the lights on, but not always. I mean, if you've got a decent flash, you can still light the room and make it look pretty natural without putting the lights on. So that's one of the things I would advise, is get a decent flash. But as I say, if you are going to put the lights on, use that flash to override those colour casts. And the ones where I wouldn't really put on are the ones on the wall, because with the lights on the wall, they do splay a lot of light up and they just can look a little bit messy. Not saying you can't, it's all a matter of preference, like I say, and if you're shooting flambient, again, you can kind of override a lot of that sort of colour cast and light leaking. But to me, it just looks a lot neater than having all the lights splay up the wall. Lights I don't mind putting on as much are like the spotlights here, and even like underlights aren't too bad, but sometimes the underlights can sort of splash a lot of light around. But if you are shooting flambient, like I say, you can really override this. And in this property here, I'm just going to show you a few examples now of the kitchen I shot, and I would put the underlights on, as they do really just make the cabinet, well, underneath the cabinets really sort of pop and light up. So generally I do put underlights on, and like I say, often put the spotlights on, because the spotlights just give that balanced sort of down lighting. But if it's a really sunny day, obviously that's another reason why you don't really need it on, as it can just look a bit odd when you've got the lights on and it's sunny outside. Another thing to consider about putting the lights on or off is who you're shooting for, like your client, your estate agent. Like I've got a few estate agent clients who always say, please turn the lights on. Whatever it is, they just like the lights on. So you're just going to have to go with that, and it's a conversation you're going to have with the estate agent if they want the lights on or off, because you don't want to let the client down, because after all, they're who you're working for and they're the people you've got to please. And another thing to consider is the light necessary? Because sometimes you might have a real sort of feature light, and you probably are going to want to put that on, because obviously the owner or whoever has made this property has probably spent a lot of money on that and they want to show that off. But sometimes there might just be some side lamps, or again like the wall lights, which aren't really adding anything to the scene. And again, if it's quite a bright day and you put a light on, again, it's not really doing anything for lighting that room. So you just got to really consider, like, is that light actually helping this photo? Is it making it look good? Do I need it on in the first place? So I'm just going to show you a couple of examples now of this flat that I've shot with the lights on and also off. And you can just take a look at yourself and kind of make a decision and let me know in the comments below. What do you prefer? Do you prefer the lights on or off? As like I say, I've got the wall lights on here, which I say I don't really like, but they don't look too bad in the lights on ones, but does it look a bit cleaner in the lights off? I'll let you decide and leave the comments below. So in summary, there's just a few things you've got to consider really when you're deciding whether to shoot with the lights on or off. One of the main things is to make sure you're having a chat with the client before you go to the property, because obviously they're the people you've got to please. So if they want the lights on, make sure they're keeping them on, or if they don't want them on, then turn them off, because at the end of the day, they're the people that's paying you, and they're the people you've got to please. The next thing is how you're going to shoot with the lights on. I would always recommend shooting flambient, because it's just going to make your life a lot easier when you come to the editing process. You can shoot HDR, but you're going to have to do the manual blending, which is quite a long, laborious process. And I really wouldn't recommend doing the HDR merge if you're putting the lights on. That's because you're going to get all the horrible color casts and light leak, and it's just not going to look great. And then finally, do you need the lights on? If it's a room filled with lots of natural light, then you're probably not going to need them on unless you've got some sort of feature light you've got to show off. You've just got to ask yourself, is that light adding anything to the scene? And if not, just turn it off and make sure you've got a decent flash to make sure the room is bright anyway. And if you want to learn how to edit flambient, I've done a video just here about how you can edit really quickly, so go and check that out. And now I'll just leave you with some photos I've shot with the lights on and off, and just let me know which ones you prefer, which ones you like in the comments below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all again soon.